Settle for a 22-all draw in the end. We're live at the DW Stadium. It only seems like Saturday we were here. Well, we were, and we're here again tonight, and we're back on Wednesday for the game in hand against Castleford. Wigan, well, they're just about at full strength. Michael Maguire has named the same starting 13 that beat Huddersfield on Saturday. Joel Tompkins is playing his 150th career game tonight. George Carmont turned 33 yesterday. And up front, Thomas Lulawai started every game this year. He's played for the Kiwis at hooker on 9 occasions down the years. Captain Sean O'Loughlin is chasing his 60th Wigan try. And there's just one change on the bench. Gareth Hawke steps down after his comeback, but he remains a work in progress. So Chris Tewson gets an immediate recall following his one-game suspension. Well, the Rhinos have got a few problems injury-wise. Ryan Hall failed that fitness test, so his place goes to Ben Jones-Bishop. He plays his first game since dislocating the shoulder in March. Lee Smith moves to the centre, and so Zach Hardacre returns on the other flank. There is an interesting change in the second row where Brett Delaney starts tonight. He's there because Wella Huraki's out suspended, and Carl Ablett is making such a good fist of playing in the centres. On the bench, Bailey, Lautiti and Kirk were all there last week. Rob Burrow drops out of the starting lineup and on to the interchange bench. Perfect night. Brian McDermott, the Leeds coach, alongside him is aide-de-camp James Lowes. They've lost 3 of the last 5. They're 6th in the table. But here's an encouraging stat for you Rhino supporters. They've won 5 of their 8 away games. And inside that dressing room, the Leeds players are invariably at their best when they are written off. Having said that, only the most optimistic fan believes that this will be an easy match for them. Out they come. They are full of determination. And they'll have to be tonight. This is the defining point of their season in many ways. The next 4 games will make or break their year. Here tonight in Perpignan to face the Catalan Dragons next Sunday. Home to Hull on the 15th of July. Then at Hull in the Challenge Cup a week later. Wigan, 46-12 winners here last week. It was the Giants' heaviest Super League defeat under Nathan Brown. Wigan are unbeaten in their last 3 and have lost just 1 of the last 12. And in the 3 games they've lost, Wigan have trailed at half-time. Here against Warrington and home and away against the Catalan Dragons. So Michael Maguire will tell his men to once again get out there and start quickly against the Leeds Rhinos. It's champions against former champions. It doesn't come much bigger than this.
I'm really looking forward to it, Eddie. Even though that Wigan are red-hot favourites, it's a simple equation as far as the Rhinos are concerned. They know they've got to stop the Warriors in the first 15-20 minutes. It's a well-known fact that Wigan have just completely demoralised. They're run rampant in the opening stanza. There's the official tonight, Thierry Alibert, the Frenchman, who really has come on a bundle this season. And not surprisingly, he's been given such a high-quality game, and this should be. You look through the list of international players on either side, and I get a funny feeling that even though the Warriors are red-hot favourites, I think Leeds, this is the time they've had a look at each other in the mirror and said it's time for us to take a stand and to show our quality. Well, it's a perfect pitch, and I'm sure they will enjoy the atmosphere and, of course, the conditions tonight.
Yes, perfect pitch. Steve-O's absolutely right. It's Leeds who are going to get this game underway. And Kevin Sinfield to start the game with a kick-off. Leeds going from left to right. And round 20's underway. Time on. And here comes the first run from Jeff Lima. He went past Ablett. There was a good job that Jamie Jones-Buchanan was there. And Peacock pushing him down. We've been playing 13 seconds. And there's the first penalty of the match.
Well, Brian McDermott, the Rhinos coach, should be very disappointed with that. He would have thought with the fact that Leeds were kicking off, they would have first chance to absolutely pummel into the Wigan forwards, and then just silly play by Peacock, holding down unnecessary.
Here's Lee Mossop now. A try in each of his last 2 for Lee Mossop. Lulawai, the man at dummy half. Here is Lima again.
That's a major reason why Michael Maguire is happy with the way that Wigan are playing, is the fact that he switches normal halfback Thomas Luluai into the hooker position early in the piece, and they do spring it out wide, and they're doing that now.
This is Carmont. He goes down on tackle number 3. They're over the halfway line, midway through this. Their second set of 6. Tompkins trying to break through.
Interesting to see how Tompkins came in there as a normal standoff. Normally he waits and links out wide from the full-back position.
Deacon goes wide and finds Harrison Hansen, who gets it away to Joel Tompkins. That's the last tackle. This set of 6 for Wigan. Luluai going down the short side. O'Loughlin thought of the kick through, but here now is Danny Maguire. Maguire intercepted, and he's going along the touchline, but Brent Finch gets in, and Maguire is knocked on.
Great work from Brent Finch.
Oh no, he hasn't.
He's claimed that Finch is coming up with a knock-on.
And the referee agrees. It's Leeds head and feet.
Well, it wasn't the best kick on the blind side from the skipper, Sean O'Loughlin. Maguire poached it, got way up there. He tried to step back on the inside, but good cover work here. Watch how Brent Finch gets himself into a good position. But sadly, as far as the Warriors are concerned, he's touched it and it has gone forward.
And so it's Leeds' chance to attack here with Lee Smith. He's held down by Finch. That could have been a penalty. Ben Jones-Bishop was the man at dummy half. He gets it away to Jamie Peacock, who runs the ball in. Badiris finds Kylie Luluai.
He needs a big game. There's a big pro forward. He's signed a new contract with the Rhinos.
Another penalty to Leeds. Hands in the ruck, says Thierry Alibert. Well, he's laid the platform, the referee, and I think Kevin Sinfield's going to have a shot at goal here.
An unusual selection, I feel. Not much opportunity with ball in hand, but 2 vital points. He's obviously got the message there from Brian McDermott.
Interesting, Kevin Sinfield. He needs just 18 points to overhaul Paul Deacon as Super League's all-time top point scorer. And he will go to the top of the charts if he gets those 18 points tonight. If not this week, he'll settle for it next. Paul Deacon, 2,395 points in Super League. Most of them for the Bradford Bulls, only 30 for Wigan in the past 2 seasons. This could be an important lead for Leeds, and it could be an important 2 points for the personal tally of Sinfield, and it is. The Rhinos hold the advantage early.
Yeah, good start from Leeds. I think that was the right decision to take. Not the fact that he's kicked the goal because it's after the event, but I certainly would have endorsed that decision. I think sometimes you've got to ascertain a bit of authority. If the points are on early, take them. A person like Kevin Sinfield, you're virtually guaranteed he's going to get the 2 points.
Yeah, I agree as well. And I think from the start of the game as well, you can see that Brian McDermott's worked a lot in the contact under the ruck and in and around the floor, that groundwork that we keep speaking about, because already in the early stages they're giving 1 penalty away, but they're slowing this Wigan side down.
Here comes Peacock again. It was Brent Webb who fielded the excellent kick-off from Pat Richards, gave it to Peacock. Then Badiris at dummy half. Now it's Delaney, and Warrington has 6 up at Castleford already. The league leaders off to a great start. Here, Leeds are ahead by 2 points to 0, and Jamie Jones-Buchanan running it strongly at Joel Tompkins.
The biggest problem, of course, for both defenders is that how long will the patience of Thierry Alibert? He's already given 2 penalties away for interfering. You can see that it's been employed by Wigan all throughout this season, in as much that they try to slow it down. I suppose most clubs in Super League, good work by Ablett there. No one coming back on the inside. Oh, great strength there to keep away from the sideline.
Last tackle here for Leeds, this set of 6, and it goes to Kevin Sinfield, and it goes high and spirals towards Sam Tompkins, who comes to meet it and collects it. Well, there's boos at one end and there's cheers at the other for Sam Tompkins.
Good take as well. Eyes on the football at all time. The crowd don't like the idea, the way that Leeds are slowing things down. They should be used to it. That's what Wigan do.
Hoffman to his feet, plays it to Luluai. This now is O'Loughlin, the Wigan skipper. Next try, 60th for his club. Luluai is in at dummy half again. Lima will take on Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Pretty smart defence by the Rhinos as well, that they're getting out of the blocks outside of the ruck area. They're forcing Wigan to one out all the time. They'll go for the kick now. Will it be deep or will it go high?
It's with Finch. He goes high in the air. Richards is after this. It bounces all over the place. It's flicked back. Who wants it? What's happened there? The referee says play on. He thought that Wigan had it for a moment. Ben Jones-Bishop, though, has got the ball.
Well, it appeared that neither side were interested in the high kick. Finch tried to kid the referee by going to the ground late. Well, that appeared to come off Webb. Did he come off his chest? Either way, it should have been a knock-on. Got away with it. Great defence.
Yes, he felt that, did young Zach Hardacre. Was a big hit. Maguire to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. They're flying in here. Now Badeiros. Back it comes to Peacock. Good start from the Rhinos, this. Last tackle, though. Wigan restricted them again to their own half of the field. Sinfield with a pinpoint kick looking for the corner. Finds Sam Tompkins.
Great kick as well. Chase just a little bit laboured, but that is great defence. They put them under the pressure now.
They're asking for a knock-on. Luluai and Badeiros there asking for the knock-on. The crowd's on the back of the referee. They wanted a penalty for that, not standing square.
He lost it. He definitely lost it on that replay. Not seen by the officials. Little wonder that the Leeds players were screaming at the official.
Maybe it went backwards though, Steve-O. Maybe. It was a fumble anyway.
The ruling should have been the tackle's completed, Eddie. I think that should have been a scrum to Leeds, but everyone's missed it, so it's play on. But the interesting thing for me, and Yeston alluded to this earlier, is how many players are getting involved in tackles. Very often now you're seeing 3 players in from both teams to slow the ruck down. If Leeds can continue to do this, that upsets Wigan's pattern of play, because Wigan want to play at breakneck pace all the time.
Stand there first. Play on. Second.
Michael Maguire and Sean Wayne up high on the top of the stand here. That's a big hit by Hoffman, helped out by Thomas Luluai, and Ben Jones-Bishop felt that. Welcome back.
He certainly did. And that's a few occasions this season. Thomas Luluai, last week against Huddersfield, he came up with a brilliant, that's a mile forward. Well spotted.
It was an offload by Peacock, and it was forward.
He's only 4.
The idea was there, and Lee Smith just had his head in front. Well, the opportunities are there for Leeds, and it's really interesting to see the likes of Jamie Peacock spinning in the tackle rather than just being as a battering ram. Is spinning and trying to offload, and they've got support.
Well, Steve-O, one of the ways to beat a 3-man defence is to actually shift the ball lateral and have somebody go one-on-one with someone. A guy putting Jamie Peacock just on the edge there makes it harder to get 3 involved. But I was impressed with his American quarterback throw. How far forward was that?
Harlequin 6 up at Salford. Here is George Carmont. Leeds are ahead here 2-0. Keeping up to date with all the important matches taking place this evening. Now it's Hoffman, gets the ball away to O'Loughlin. He nearly lost that, he caught it on the way down. Luluai finds Deacon, pops it up then to Harrison Hansen. Good hit by Jamie Jones-Buchanan. They keep the movement going though. Here is Tompkins. Great footwork again from Tompkins, going one way then the other. In the end, Jamie Jones-Buchanan and Carl Ablett get to him.
Could have been a penalty interfering there, Ablett, with the fullback Sam Tompkins.
Well, they've come tonight, by the looks of things, Leeds, to match fire with fire. Last tackle, though, for Wigan. Brett Finch hoists it towards the corner, looking for Pat Richards. Ben Jones-Bishop does really well.
He was taken out without the football there. That should have been a penalty to Leeds. He's quite happy to let them tap on the 20, but a Wigan player took out... What's this?
I think it's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
It should have been a penalty to
maybe you're right.
to Wigan.
You're right, Eddie. I got it the wrong way around. First off, it was the Leeds player that took the Wigan player out.
Well, they've been caught offside at the restart, Wigan. Well, it's helter-skelter, isn't it? I suppose it's exactly what we'd expect. It's in from Wigan and Leeds.
Yeah, it is, and you know, probably Brian's a little bit disappointed with Leeds there with Jamie. I know he's gone for the killer offload, but I think it's really important that they try and compose themselves and try and get back to dominating the last plays and try and dominate the field position, because when they're doing that against this Wigan side, they look ordinary coming out of yardage. You just don't want to give them free field position on your goal line.
Peacock again. And Badiris has a little scamper, gives it to Kevin Sinfield, and he gets some width for Brent Webb to attack. One-handed, he flicks it to Lee Smith, brilliantly picked up by Ben Jones-Bishop, and Wigan cover across.
Well, I suppose real time we've seen the Rhinos put together a good combination of passes.
That's Brett Delaney again. Looks like Brett Delaney and Kevin Sinfield here. They've gone to the same boot suppliers, and maybe Maguire has as well. Stabbed through, picked up by Tompkins on the fly. He'll try and return with interest.
Not the best kick through as well. It was good position there by Tompkins, messing around at to play the ball.
Charnley with the run.
You can feel the difference between this Wigan outfit. They really want to get up and play the ball quickly. The enthusiasm is there all throughout this season.
Luluai gets the ball away to Joel Tompkins. Oh, he takes on Maguire. Good job that Ablett was there. Luluai and Deacon into centre field. It comes to Finch. Further wide then to O'Loughlin. Here is Carmont. And Carmont attacking down this left-hand channel for Wigan. Sinfield with the tackle. Hoffman gets it to Richards. He hoists the kick high.
Too far.
Webb's after it. No problem for a man of Brent Webb's calibre. New one-year deal signed this week for Brent Webb. Kylie Luluai also putting pen to paper on a new deal, and he says he will retire. That's Kylie Luluai at the end of 2012. So he's with Leeds for the final season of his career. Forward pass again.
That was too fancy, too smart.
Webb disagrees. And Webb, having spoken at a turn, gives away the penalty. It was full.
By a mile, but the thing is, you know, Brent Webb has this habit of just losing control, having a few words to say to the official. You're never going to beat them. You may hate them, you may dislike them. You don't have to send them Christmas cards, but they're the boss.
I totally agree, Steve-O. I've never coached a player yet who's given me a reasonable explanation as to why he's back-chatted a referee. And even if they say he was wrong, well actually, he wasn't wrong because he penalised you, and he's in charge and he makes the decisions. You've got to get over those frustrations really quick, or they cost you points.
One of the penalties Patrick Arvan kicked last week to help Bradford to their first win at Headingley in 4 years was for dissent by Brent Webb, from all accounts. So he hasn't learned his lesson. Hansen nearly lost that ball, hangs on, plays it to Luluai. Here is Mossop now.
Sam Tompkins screaming, he'll come on the second phase.
Well, they're lined up down this channel, but they're going the other way. And he gets the ball away to Charnley, and Charnley scores. Tries given by Thierry Albert. Josh Charnley, the man who missed the draw at Leeds in April, that was his last absence. His Super League debut coming on loan at Hulkinston Rovers last year against Leeds. He's displaced Darryl Golding on the wing here in 2011, and that's try number 13 for Josh Charnley. The 19-year-old setting Wigan alight this year, and how expensive was the back chat from Brent Webb.
It was a forward, no point in arguing with the official, and that is a problem that Leeds have had for quite some time. Brian McDermott will be pulling his hair out in regard to that. Good offload there by the big fella, Joel Tompkins, and Charnley. Well, it's going to take a good player to take this winger's place, because he's doing the job very well indeed.
Yes, Josh Charnley's try gives Wigan the lead. Sinfield's boot gave Leeds a 2-0 advantage. Now it's the Charnley try and Pat Richards to try and improve matters. And this fellow, he needs 3 points to register 1,500 in Super League. He would become only the 8th man to achieve that statistic. And he's kicking this year with an 86% success rate. 55 goals from 64 attempts. 56 goals from 65 attempts. And Wigan are ahead by 6 points to 2.
Very deflated look on the faces of the Leeds Rhinos, and rightly so. They were in a good position. Webb gave them the ball, and the centre fed the winger superbly. There was no one at home He really has come on leaps this season, this fella.
So Wigan ahead by 6 points to 2.
Terrific try, a very smart play down a short side when you take 2 lead runners out and you put somebody one-on-one. Put Joel Tompkins one-on-one with Danny Maguire. That's a tough tackle to make a couple of metres out from the line.
Lima plays the ball to Luluai. Here comes Harrison Hansen now. He made his Wigan debut, Harrison Hansen, in 2004. There's only O'Loughlin and the absent tonight Gareth Hock who have been at Wigan longer than Harrison Hansen.
He's been a great servant and he's playing exceptionally well this season. Very solid indeed. And yet again, we have yet to see the fullback Sam Tompkins come flying through off the passes normally of the loose forward Sean O'Loughlin out wide, and that is a knock-on.
Well, it was an awful play the ball. It was a really untidy play the ball from Ryan Hoffman. He's complaining that he was held down and it should have been a penalty to Wigan. Well, I don't think, well, I'm not so sure. You couldn't really tell from that. It was a bit tight. Let's have a look here. Well, yeah, Delaney stepped over him.
Yeah, well, it was a Oscar nomination, wasn't it?
Maguire through the dummy.
You see how they're slowing them down again? You know, Maguire's going to be a lot quicker. All the Leeds players have got to say, hey, come on, let's get some energy, get up onto your feet.
17 minutes gone. Wigan ahead 6-2. Peacock obviously got a bit of a bang on the head, wearing the bandana, I suppose you would call it, a la Rafa Nadal, but this is a bit more vigorous than tennis. Sinfield will attack the line, gets the ball to Delaney. Important tackle that by Brett Finch. Last tackle for Leeds. Webb slides the kick in, and I think that's a try for Ben Jones-Bishop. It is a try for Ben Jones-Bishop. The young man who is making his first appearance since March when he dislocated his shoulder against Salford. He got on the end of that little dink through, and Leeds are level again, much to the delight of their coach Brian McDermott. It's been a long time since he last crossed the whitewash, but it was a knock-on by Hoffman in centre field that gifted Leeds the possession, and they took full advantage.
Could have gone either way, but it didn't, and Leeds, as Eddie has mentioned, took the advantage there. But it was a beautiful little dink through, wasn't it, by the fullback Webb. He was fully aware. Ben Jones-Bishop, he really is a talent, isn't he? He knew exactly what he was going to do. And this is the part of the game that really has been letting the Rhinos down this season, is their kicking game, both long and short, but not on this occasion. Well weighted. You could see there that Richards did not respond quick enough. Full credit to the youngster.
Yeah, Ben Jones-Bishop, that's his fifth try of a disrupted campaign that he's had. And here's Kevin Sinfield again to have a shot at another 2 points for himself. Just looking down the list, Justin Harris is in the list of the all-time Super League points scorers. 1674, Justin, you scored in your time before you moved into the easy world of coaching.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't get any more than that, will I?
And Sinfield, he drifts it over the top of the bar. That's a tremendous kick from Kevin Sinfield. Leeds get the advantage back again. It's 8 points to 6, and Bev Risman, it's the last weekend of his presidency of the Rugby League. He hands on the chain of office next Wednesday. This is his final stop on a whistle-stop tour of all the Rugby League grounds of the British Isles. Many thousands of miles clocked up by Bev, so many in fact that his car conked out midway through the season and he had to buy a new one. A great year for Bev and his work for the Rugby League Foundation and the Benevolent Fund, and it will continue, I'm sure, once he has finished in the role. Well done, Bev, who of course is another great Leeds goal kicker.
I think Brian McDermott obviously exceptionally happy that they've gone on the score sheet, but the way they've finished the set, because the last 2 times they've had the ball, they've made some unforced errors, and they've actually looked good when they've actually competed, and they've got a penalty which will allow them again to get some more territory. But when they are completing the sets and putting the ball in the right areas, they're making Wigan look an ordinary side. And I think if Leeds keep going in this vein, I think they've got a chance of scoring plenty of points.
Well, the referee is upsetting everybody, both sides, so I suppose he's fair for both. He's upsetting the crowd, he's upsetting the players.
It won't worry him, and at least the players are fully aware, and both coaches should be as well, that he will not have any messing around at the play of the ball, and that's how it should be.
Bailey down on the first challenge since he's come on. Saints ahead 6-0. Sinfield looking very busy tonight, the Leeds captain. Of all the players out there this evening, you know, and they'll all be hurting with the criticism, Sinfield will be stung the most. He's a perfectionist. This is Ablett.
Certainly is, but on this particular game now, he's asking a few questions.
Here he is again, Sinfield. Finds Brent Webb. Gives it then to Delaney. Finch with the tackle. Badiris waits at dummy half. Delaney to his feet gingerly. Webb again. Webb again! Gets the ball away, and it's picked up in defence by that man Finch.
Well, for most occasions, you'd say that he was panic football by Brent Webb. But when you're in such a good position like that, it's well worth taking a gamble.
The Leeds are all offside.
This is another thing that Wigan are very, very good at this season. Once they get the penalty, Richards grabs it as soon as possible and gets the opposition going backwards. It's a real good tactic.
Delaney was in the ruck then. He could have been penalised as well.
Now, Tompkins, Sam, that is, will he go for Ablett out wide?
Luluai finds Finch, he finds Deacon. The runner was there, it was Harrison Hansen.
There was a huge gap, and he knows it. That was TRY time.
Well, if he catches that, he's one-on-one with Brent Webb, isn't he? Just watch him go through. Paul Deacon hits the hole, one-on-one with Brent Webb. You don't know what's going to happen there.
Now, the full-back would have been off balance. You can see he was very, very slow to get into a position. I don't think he would have been stopped.
Well, Webb got to him, albeit without the ball, but he got there. 8-6 Leeds in possession here. That's Clarkson. Saints are 10 up against Hull. Hull's reviving fortunes being put to the test by St Helens.
This will be a huge psychological boost, so that's play on back to 6, and then he's knocked on. Oh, it says play on, that's fair play by the referee. They had the opportunity, give them the advantage.
Well, he came backwards initially off Wigan. Leeds had it, and then they lost it.
Just trying to, there you see, he tried to offload, but Deirdre's got it, then lost it.
That's a first.
Here's Finch, now Deacon, and Tompkins shows it, gives it in the end to brother Joel. Joel to Charnley, and Charnley flicks the ball inside, and then it's carted over the south side by Ablett, but I think it was a forward pass. I think it's a forward pass. This will be head and feet to Leeds.
Well, on the replay, oh, that's all right.
It's this one, it's this one. There.
Yeah. Well spotted, and good work there by the touch judge, obviously helping the man with the whistle. Your eyes are good today, Eddie. That was a great call. I'm just going to make the point that when Leeds had the possession there, it would have been a psychological boost for them to make the halfway line, because their kicking game tonight from the Rhinos is far better than what I've seen all this year.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. The thing I like about Leeds tonight, most impressive, is they're prepared to attack. They're running with a lot of vigour, a lot of power, they're supporting. I think when they've got around the halfway line, they've had a couple of set plays that they've executed very, very well, and they've got some confidence. See, little runs like this from Danny Badiris gets them on the front foot, gets Wigan on the back foot, and you can play off this.
Sinfield wide to Ben Jones-Bishop. Oh, he's gone round Richards, and he's got away from Carmont, and he puts the ball inside to Lee Smith, and Lee Smith is tackled by Sam Tompkins. Quick play, the ball's what they wanted. Brilliant work by Tompkins. It's offside for offside. Not standing square.
Either way, Tompkins is giving away the penalty, but he's probably prevented a try being scored by the Rhinos.
It probably should be sin bin here.
Yep, professional foul, but he has prevented. If that ball had gone out wide, Ben Jones-Bishop, superb. Full credit to the fullback Sam Tompkins got there, but that should be sin bin time.
It was a great decision from Thierry Alabert. So this is Leeds' big chance. Badiris gets it away to Maguire. Maguire finds Jamie Jones Buchanan, who is picked up by Joel Tompkins. He's lost the ball.
You could to Wigan.
I don't know how it's a knock on, because Jamie Jones-Buchanan was facing his own sticks. Should have been play on this. Actually, Harrison Hansen might have got a touch on it.
Yeah, he definitely does. At the last minute, that could have been a penalty to Leeds. More than one in the tackle.
Hey, it's a great Friday.
Oh, he spilt it.
It could be a wonderful Friday for Leeds. Here's Ben Jones-Bishop.
Great step. This kid's going to be sensational. Let's hope he can be injury-free for quite some time.
Badira's into centre field to Sinfield. Sinfield then to Bailey.
But a bit short out there on that right-hand side. Will they swing it to the left? They're going.
With Maguire, and further wide it goes to Brent Webb, who cuts inside Webb and scores for Leeds! Brent Webb with a try for the Leeds Rhinos. Their supporters are going potty. Brian McDermott just keeps a lid on his emotions. And Brent Webb over for the try. Well, we said in the build-up to this, you write the Leeds Rhinos off at your peril. And they are taking this game to the Wigan Warriors. And that's the 75th try for Leeds for Brent Webb. And he becomes the highest scoring fullback in the Rhinos' history.
There's Richards spilling the ball.
What a hit from Clarkson.
Certainly was. Good impact. This is sensational. I said he needed to have a big game. He hadn't scored for 10 weeks, 10 games. And as far as my memory is concerned, Ian Proctor, our statistician, as will confirm, I think that makes him the most try scorer for a full-back in Leeds. Sensational stuff. He'll celebrate with that.
Brent Webb with the try. Well, this performance has come out of sheer will, spirit and determination from the Leeds Rhinos. They finished 10th in 1996, that was Super League's inaugural year. They've never finished lower than 5th since. They've only been that low twice, 1997 and 2001, and they have no intentions of finishing any lower than that this year, and they would actually be eyeing the top four. This, if it stays as a victory for Leeds, would be a heck of a boost for them. Sinfield's brought his kicking boots with him, and the Rhinos ahead by 14 points to 6.
Well, on boots and all that man there, Brian McDermott said, I'm not coming to Wigan for a win, I just want Leeds to play well. Was it psychology? Who knows, but it's certainly working, and Michael Maguire knows they've got to dig deep.
Yeah, Maguire looks rattled, Sean.
Well, I think you'd be concerned about the number of errors with this team. That's uncustomary. They're I wouldn't say they're playing poorly, but they have made a couple of errors, which you have to give Leeds a lot of credit for putting them under pressure. And that's what happens to any team when they're under pressure. They'll come up with the odd error. Leeds have taken advantage of that situation.
Wigan got out of jail here on Good Friday against the Saints, winning 28-24, thanks to Liam Farrell's last-minute try. They've won 4 in a row at home, and they've scored 190 points. They've conceded just 24 until tonight. Well, they've conceded another 14 here in the opening 29 minutes.
And that's down to the fact that Leeds have been quite adventurous.
And maybe when you think about Leeds this season, that's exactly what Brian McDermott has been preaching to them from day one, because we have been critical of them in the fact that they have tried to force the pace at times when perhaps they have never needed to.
Yeah, and they've been a lot more conservative, but at least at times when they know they're in a good position, and their kicking game's been good. Once again, it's found terra firma. This will be too strong. No, it won't. Is the chase good? And it is. There's 4 in attendance. Nowhere to go for Pat Richards.
Eddie, we covered a game with Leeds a few weeks ago when they played St Helens, and one of the criticisms after the game was the fact that they got into decent position, but that's all they seemed to be able to do, get good field position, and they didn't quite know what to do after that. This is a different side here tonight. They've got a lot more idea about where they're going and what they're doing. They've got a lot more attacking options.
Half an hour gone, the Rhinos lead 14-6 in the battle of the last 2 champions of the Super League. That's found its way out to the wing untidily. Charnley hangs on to it.
Very lucky there. He overrun the pass and got a hand to it, but it did go backwards.
This is Harrison Hansen. He goes down just short of halfway on the last tackle, so the kick here. Has to be good.
Stay down.
Finch pumps it downfield, and that extra couple of seconds as Ben Joan-Bishop picks it up allows the Wigan defence to arrive. 12-0 Warrington meanwhile, the league leaders in great form at Castleford. Here, Leeds, well, they are winning on points at the moment.
And they look very confident indeed, and it's a smart move, you know, by Brian McDermott to throw onto the fray. Rob Barrow, a little bit more running from dummy half, you'll see from this fella that's just played the ball.
Delaney, solid hit by Prescott and Andy Coley.
I think it's a smart move by Brian McDermott as well to put Delaney into the forwards. Give him a little bit more work, and he's certainly done that.
Here's Ian Kirk, another Rhino with the white boots. Delaney is another. Sinfield is the other. Maguire pumps the ball over the top of Pat Richards, and that surely will run dead, and it does.
Well, quite a few sides are quite happy to do that, so they can line on that 30. And I must say, the opening 10 minutes, Wigan looked very energetic indeed, and now you can see they're certainly not buzzing, that's for sure. A lot of credit has to go to the Rhinos' defence, though.
Tomorrow, Bradford Catalan is live on HD3. The Bulls' top 8 charge is gathering pace. Catalan, though, arguably the team of the moment under Trent Robinson. And Robinson is here tonight, watching on. He's somewhere in this big crowd, doing a great job in the south of France. Prescott played the ball there to McIlaurin. There's a dart forward from Chris Tewson. Prescott, back it comes. Finch finds Hoffman. Oh, the ball went backwards. It's picked up by Sam Tompkins. A little hop, skip and a jump. Oh, and he gets away from them. Sam Tompkins has got away from them, gives the ball to Charnley.
Well read by the youngster as well. Tompkins was jinking a quart towards the sideline. Put himself in a good position.
Finch looking for a crossfield kick, looking for the tall figure of Pat Richards. It's palmed back, and they will score. Wigan, will they?
Steve, can you check for a knock-on? Yeah, wait.
Was that Andy Coley? He hasn't scored in Super League for 12 months. And there was a bit of an obstruction going on, by the way, on Pat Richards and company. They're all onside, I think.
Yep. No worries about that at all for the video referee, Steve Ganson. Now
just watch Maguire here. He jumps in front of Richards.
This is a try. There's no doubt in my mind. Well, I'm not so sure what Danny Maguire was trying to do there.
It's Ryan Hoffman. Andy Coley was in there in the celebrations. It wasn't Andy Coley. There was a touch of incredulity in the voice.
I think he's just determining whether he's knocked the ball forward here, because it's not a pass, so you can judge on a knock-on. I think that's what he's determining, whether the ball has been knocked on.
Well, Andy Coley was the first man in to join in the celebrations. That what confused me. Has it confused Steve Ganson, the video referee? No, it hasn't. Try is given.
They've got it right. And it was a beautiful kick, wasn't it, by Brett Finch? Pierre Alibert did the right thing, went up to the video referee, and Ryan Hoffman was on hand to take it. But Leeds players and Brian McDermott, their coach, will be wondering what on earth Danny Maguire, should I say, was doing. There's one thing trying to protect a winger, but he seemed to take the wrong man and then jump too early.
So Pat Richards, we've got some great goal kickers on the field tonight, haven't we? Sinfield and Richards, and we rarely see Paul Deacon kicking a goal. And we have one of the greatest goal kickers on our team tonight as well, in Iestyn Harris. They're all here. The stars are glittering at the DW Stadium. And Richards adds 2 more points to the Wigan total, 12-14. Goal kickers are so priceless, Iestyn, aren't they?
They are. They just have the points ticking over, don't they? But I think Leeds will be very, very frustrated because they've actually started to dominate this. see a beautiful kick from the Wigan side just to put the pressure on, and Pat Richards jumps up. But actually what got them into that area, Leeds' defensive was exceptional for the majority of that, and all of a sudden Sam Tompkins up the ball, whipped himself across 2 or 3 defenders, got them into a position where they could put that kick, and that try is down to Sam Tompkins.
I agree with you there, Justin, and as much as the fact that this winger, Josh Charnley, put himself in position, came back on the inside to ensure that Tompkins wasn't taken out over the touchline. He is learning quickly.
I reckon that's a side, Steve-O, that right-hand side that's not given enough credit for Wigan. We talk about this left side of Brett Finch, Ryan Hoffman, George Carmont and Pat Richards has been almost the money play side, isn't it, where they tend to go, and there's a lot of tries scored down that side. But the right-hand side do a lot of work with Joel Tompkins and Josh Charnley out there as well.
This is Deacon. Oh, and the flat pass was not on. Tewson, I think, believed he was going to be the dummy runner, and he was given it like a bullet from a gun. Look.
Yeah, it looked as though he was coming in on the angle, whether it was a set move or not, but he just overran. He had to reach back for it. Not the best from Paul Deacon, and I must say he hasn't really started to shine yet to the half-back, Deacon.
You can be half a second too early or half a second too slow in this business, and it makes a huge difference.
Burrow gives it to Lee Smith, and Andy Coley closes in with Ryan Hoffman. Burrow, Bailey, he's turned on his back by 3. Burrow again, little run, finds Maguire. Maguire then back to Webb. Webb gets it wide to Ablett.
That should be back to 6.
Charnley's chasing. Referee says that's a 0 tackle. No, he don't. He'll bring it back. He'll bring it back because there's no advantage.
Yeah, and I must say, Lauatiti, he looked as though he had cement in the legs, in the boots. Look at this. Boy. Been given, actually, because that was a definite knock on, but saved a try by putting the arm out.
Would have been an interesting decision for Steve Ganson had he picked the ball up off the deck, whether he would have agreed with Thierry Alibert's interpretation of that.
Oh, it was a definite knock on, no two ways about it.
Run around involving Sinfield, he then gets it to Lee Smith. Carmont and Hoffman deal with that particular threat. Sinfield again, infield it comes to Delaney.
You can see the building confidence, can't you, in this Rhinos outfit. Interesting to see how he's going to use Rob Barrow. He's using him as a hooker style.
Lauatiti spins away from a bit of trouble, then runs back straight into it.
I'd like to see a bit more running from this Barrow bloke. Come on, head down is so small, go underneath.
He gives it to Maguire, short ball then to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Wigan asking, or being asked to defend their goal line here. So far they are, but has Sinfield got the key? Has Kirk got the key? That's the last. They're 7 metres out. Quick play of the ball. Burrow! Burrow fires the pass, flick over the top, and it's in the corner with Zach Hardacre. It's another Leeds try, and Zach Hardacre, the young man from Featherstone, the Championship Player of the Year in 2010, and it's all working perfectly for Brian McDermott at the moment. And Zach Hardacre over in the corner, and Leeds are going to turn around at half-time with an advantage.
Well, I said more scooting from this little fella, and it certainly worked out that way. What about the tip-on from Ablett? Caught the Wigan defence. Good build-up. Back on the inside. He had all this covered. No problems with that. Ian Kirk was slammed to the ground, but look at the space in the pass, and the flip-on from Ablett was sensational. In a bit of a hole in this Wigan outfit. Beep, beep. Does it. The flick. Fantastic.
Outstanding try, and it needed finishing as well, because Sam Tompkins was homing in on him. Now then, Sinfield, 3 from 3. This, without doubt, the most difficult he has faced. Inching towards that Paul Deacon record. See the degree of difficulty. But if anybody can, Kevin Sinfield can. They're going to turn around at half-time ahead, but it's 18-12 at the moment. 20-12 would be pretty, but he has missed it. First miss tonight for Kevin Sinfield, but Leeds ahead 18-12. And they know, and Wigan know, the 3 games that they have lost this year, Wigan have trailed at half-time.
Well, they're going to trail again this time. At Brian McDermott, they're talking to Jamie Peacock, 2 very experienced players, and they'll be talking a lot about how they're controlling the game and what they're doing very well, and perhaps a couple of little things they're not doing so well. It's one thing I wanted to give credit to, though, Eddie, was Ian Kirk on that play the ball for that try. It made Rob Burrow's job much easier, and it was terrific hands from Carl Ablett. It
was a really quick play the ball, which was just what Brian McDermott wanted. There's the half-time siren. Leeds are ahead at half-time. They led courtesy of the Sinfield penalty after 3 minutes. Charnley's try made it 6-2. Then 2 tries from Leeds, 14-16. Hoffman responded, and Hardaker's try right before half-time. Leeds are ahead 18-12 at half-time. We had a storming match last Friday, and we have another here tonight. Leeds just in front.
Up front in the 4.